Well, welcome to Friday afternoon. Yesterday was my old music mentor's birthday. He would have been 102 this year, and I put his picture up here so we could talk about him. We talked about him in front of his back. I guess we can talk about him when he's dead. So come look at those. His name was Gene Cunningham, and always known as Old Bald Gene. When I was playing in a medical school, I was playing with a bluegrass band with a wonderful banjo player and a guitar player, and they were 15 and 13, and they met Gene, and he was bald, and so they just called him Old Bald Gene. He was so old, he was probably 50 at the time. But he was Old Bald Gene all the time we knew him. Wonderful man, musician, songwriter, storyteller, mechanic, race car driver. He built his own open wheel sprint car driver. He was a horse rider and worked on ranches out west, rode airplanes, and was just a fun guy. He would come visit us, and it was always fun. So this is a song that he used to sing. It's about lonely tombs, and it always makes me think. One time I went to visit him. I was living in Detroit, and I went to visit him, and on the way home I went out of my way about 30 miles to go visit his family cemetery. And then I took pictures of his people in his family's graves. And then I developed the pictures. It was the days you develop pictures. And then I put them in envelopes and sent them to people in California and Washington and Florida, and told them to send them to Gene. So he got all these pictures of these people that he's dead relatives, tombstones from all over the country from people he didn't know. But I was thinking of him and that prank. I was strolling one day in a lonely graveyard when a voice from the tombs seemed to say, once I walk as you walk, talk as you talk, but from earth I was soon called away. Oh, those tombs, lonely tombs, seem to say in a low, gentle tone, oh, how sweet is the rest in our beautiful heavenly home. Then I came to the place where my mother was laid, silently tuned by her tune, and her voice seemed to say in a low, gentle way, I am safe with my Savior above. Oh, those tombs, lonely tombs, seem to say in a low, gentle tone, oh, how sweet is the rest in our beautiful heavenly home. So I hope he's having a heavenly rest, not too far from his mother. He was always a bachelor when I knew him, but he had been married one time before. He married a girl that was in his kindergarten class, and they were married about, she had a son, and then 10 years later, 12 years later, they got married. Gene and Alice got married, and that didn't last very long, but he always took care of her. He had 2 acres that ended up right in downtown Des Moines. Used to be in the country when he moved there 80 years before he died, 82 years before he died, and he lived there, and that little dirt road became a paved road and then a 4-lane highway, and they kept taking a little bit of his front yard. But he had 3 or 4 little houses on that 2 acres, and Alice lived in it and took care of him. And then he just became a bachelor again and was happy with that. And I don't remember him singing this song, but he would like this one. Everybody's going out and having fun. I must be a fool 'cause I am having none. I can't believe the day she set me free. Oh, lonesome me. A big mistake I'm making just by hanging around. I should be out and paint the town. I'm lovesick blind as I can be. Oh, lonesome me. I bet she's not like me. She's out fancy free, playing with the boys with all her charm. I still love her so, and brother, don't you know, I'd welcome her right back into my arms. There must be some way I can lose these lonesome blues. Forget about the past and find somebody new. My mind is gone today. Must be some way I can lose these lonesome blues. Forget about the past and find somebody new. I've thought of everything from A to Z. Oh, lonesome me. Oh, lonesome me. This is he had sang lots of lonesome songs, was sometimes kind of a lonesome guy, but he, when he was little, 7 years old, in the winter time, on Saturday nights, if they got in the living room and his dad turned the radio to Nashville, Tennessee, then when the Grand Ole Opry came on, if his dad held on to the antenna, and if he held on to Gene's hand, and they stood in this right direction, they could hear the Grand Ole Opry. So that's how they listened to the Grand Ole Opry. He said that the commercials always came in very clear, not so much the music. But one of the persons they might have heard at that time was Roy Acup, who did this. Low and lonely, sad and blue, thinking only of little you. I keep trying to keep from crying. I'm low and lonely over you. Do you miss me? Say you do. Tell me, darling, tell me true, do you yearn, dear, for my return, dear? I'm low and lonely over you. Low and lonely, sad and blue, thinking only of little you. I keep trying to keep from crying. I'm low and lonely over you. I'm low and lonely over you. Oh. wrote lots of songs and sang lots of, and he would just add verses to songs. And it was kind of in the time when it was okay to make fun of your mother-in-law, which always tickled me because it seemed old-fashioned even 30 years ago. And he liked songs that about women. Wasn't particularly a fan of women's liberation, but I used to sing this song for him, which is called, well, you'll hear it. For all the ladies. You uppity women, I don't understand why you gotta go and try to act like a man before you make your weekly visit to the shrink. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns get your biscuits in the oven and get your biscuits in the oven and your bun. Jeez, my brain is fried today. Early every morning, see, you uppity women, I don't understand why you gotta go and try to act like a man before you make your weekly visit to the sink. You better occupy the kitchen, liberate the sink, and get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. That's what I to my baby say. Women's liberation is going to your head. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. Well, early every morning you're out on the street, passing out pamphlets to everyone you meet. You gave up your maiden form for Lent, and the front of your dress has an air scoop vent. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. That's what I to my baby say. Women's liberation is going to your head. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. Well, mean-hearted harpies are breaking all the laws, tearing up the girdles and burning their bras. Their hair is dirty and their sex is clean, and their coffee makes my hair turn green. So damn emancipated in your mind and your body, you're gonna have to give up your lessons in karate. If you can't love a male chauvinist, you better cross me off of your shopping list and get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. That's what I do, my baby say. Women's liberation is going to your head. Get your biscuits in the oven and your buns in bed. Oh, I like the hymns. Oh, I don't know if I can read any of this. Okay. My grandfather used to sing this, and I remember him singing it, but I never heard it for like 40 years, and I met Gene, and one night he sang this one. All what key did he sing? All over the country they're giving away millions and millions of coupons each day. You get things for nothing, and you bet your life I save them up, 'cause I've got a wife, and I'm saving up coupons to get one of those. What I do with one load only knows. I'm saving up coupons to get one of those. Saving up coupons to get one of those. My wife has a habit of saving. I cannot read this. So it goes on, and shut up. Okay, it's gonna do this. Have an alarm that tells me I'm not listening to my phone. I'm not listening to my phone. So anyway, Gene, of course, wrote verses to everything. And this is one of his verses. He always had an eye for the ladies. So. A girl in a bikini came passing by. I'm totally blind, but she caught my eye. I ran her down the street to the neighbor's place. I stared her husband right in the face. I'm saving up coupons to get one of those. Saving up coupons to get one of those. What I want with one, my age only knows. Saving up coupons to get one of those. And if he came to visit you, you might end up in his song. We used to have pet ferrets, which he was tickled that we had weasels in the house. But you go to the Kelleys and here's what you find. Jennifer and Caitlin and Marcia Devine. John's on the porch feeding the ferrets, I know. Playing the banjo, playing Cotton Eye Joe. I'm saving up coupons to get one of those. What I want with one, Lord only knows. I'm saving up coupons to get one of those. Saving up coupons to get one of those. Ooh. So Gene always thought he was born in the wrong century, and thought he really should have been born in 1822 instead of 1922. But he never thought of himself as old. He always kind of thought he would like to do it all again. And another one of his singing songs to the songs about ladies. This one's called "I'd Like to Be 16 Again." Now the worst mistake that I ever made was to take that wedding vow. Now I'm tied to a nagging wife and I'm always in a row. Too scared to talk, I walk the chalk, my head I meekly bow. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. Said I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. The girls I'd please with every squeeze, I'd make them holler, wow. It's too late to change my fate, such things is not allowed. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. I spent my youth running around and I thought I knew it all. What I learned it hard, now my head is bald. I reminisce of the things I miss, of the fields I'd like to plow. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. Said I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. The girls that please with every squeeze, I'd make them holler, wow. But it's too late to change my fate, such things is not allowed. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. My teeth are gone, I'm not too strong, I lost my sex appeal. Even a judge, Jared Tall, couldn't cure the way I feel. can do is growl. Oh, I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. The girls are pleased with every squeeze. I'd make them holler, wow. It's too late to change my fate. Such things is not allowed. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. I'd like to be 16 again and know what I know now. I'd like to be 16 again. Oh hell, I'd just like to know what any 16-year-old knows now, yeah. So here's a song about naming a drink after the girl. They ought to name a drink after you. Oh, I get drunk most every night. Seems like all we do is fight. The more I drink, the less I feel blue. Sometimes I feel like an awful fool, spending my life on an old bar stool. And well, I guess they ought to name a drink after you. Maybe Bloody Mary. Disappear. I need one word. If this date were to be our last, I'd never put down this glass. It would take all the booze in the world to forget you. Someone said that you left town. Guess I better have a double round. And well, I guess they ought to name a drink after you. I guess that I have had my fill. Better go and pay my bill. We started out just to have a few. Then someone said that you left town. Guess I better have a double round. And well, I guess they ought to name a drink after you. 'Cause well, I guess they ought to name a drink after you. We'd go home and from playing a jam session, and I went to one of the times I visited him was the middle of winter. We went to play music on a Sunday night. Got home about 2 o'clock in the morning. Gene lived in this little house that used to be 80 feet from the road, but now is about 20 feet from the road. And in Des Moines, it was below zero, and the winter before, his gas bill was so high that he had to do something about it. His gas bill was $40, and so he turned the gas off, and he got two 50-gallon barrel stoves. He made a stove out of two 50-gallon barrels, stacked them one on top of the other, so it would burn down here, the smoke would go through here, and then go out through his chimney. And that was his heat during the winter. And the interesting byproduct of that is that if that's your only heat, there's only one place in the house that beer won't freeze, and that's in the refrigerator. So he kept his beer in the refrigerator to keep it from freezing. We come home 2 o'clock at night, we've got our coats on and our hats on and our gloves on. It is freezing in there, frost on the windows, and he puts some wood in there and throws some kerosene in, and we start playing, and we finally take our gloves off, and then our coats, and then our hats, and then it got to be just hotter and hotter. Pretty soon we were sitting in t-shirts, playing music, and I'm sitting on his vinyl couch, and I lean back, and where the cuts in the couch were that he taped with electrical tape, the electrical tape had melted, so I was stuck to the back of the couch. But we had a big time. But it was hard to wind down after playing music, so we would often sing this one, because we could go to sleep after singing this one. Last Saturday night I got married. Me and the wife settled down. Now me and the wife are parted. I'm gonna take a little stroll downtown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Stop your rambling and stop your gambling. Stop staying out late at night. Go home to your wife and family and sit by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Stop your rambling and stop your gambling. Sometimes I live in the country. Sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I take a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Irene, good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dream. Before we do our last one, I want to thank you all for coming out and listening to me. My mind is gone today. I don't know what happened. I can't think of the words. I can't see the words. But other than that, we're having a good time. Next week, we have a guest star. I think Brian Olson is going to come, and we're going to play some tunes that right at the beginning of COVID, we made some videotapes. He would record a song and send it to me, and I would record over it, vice versa. And we made several of those kind of to entertain ourselves at the beginning of COVID. And so we're going to play some of those songs and do that. And the following week, Mike Sherman is going to come, who's a wonderful guitar player. And he's going to play, we're going to talk about the blues. We're going to play a couple of blues tunes, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the history of the blues and how you make all those bluesy sounds on electric guitar. And so that'll be our next 2 weeks. So enjoy that. And bring your neighbors and friends. In the meantime, we're going to close with our favorite. You take the C-N-R and an E-S-S, W-I-N-D, that spells Crestwayne, and it means paradise. You take the C-N-R and an E-S-S, W-I-N-D, that spells Crestwayne. It's mighty nice. Take a C-N-R and an E-S-S, W-I-N-D, and that spells Crestwayne, and that's home to me, and that spells Crestwayne, and it means paradise in Gainesville. you all. And next week, Brian. The following week, Michael. It'll be fun. God bless. Sunday night at 5 o'clock, there's a garden party. And there's going to be music. The ukulele players are going to play, some in small groups and together. And Nancy Evans is going to play the piano. And then at 6 o'clock, if you've had enough garden party, the Mission Club is having a free concert in the ballroom with the praise band from Flat Creek Baptist Church. So that'll be fun. Come to that. Lots of music on Sunday. And we will see you all. The 15th of November, Kim Miller is going to start a beginning ukulele class. So sign up and come. And in the wings, Pinky and I are working on a program for a Friday night. So we're going to wait till it cools off. So don't miss that one.